Hello, so I'll be going to give an overview of my game. It's called HauntED. The ED stands for education. There's a small learning component in the game in the form of a quiz, which I'll show you later on. So there are a total of 3 scenes in the game. This is the main menu where the game starts. Then there's the main game, that's in the second scene. Then the third is the death scene, or when the game ends after you win or lose. So I'll start the game and I'll pause it in the middle to explain the different functionalities and show a bit around the game scenes and all, because there's a lot of noise on the background. I'll pause it in between and then explain it. So let's start the game. So this is the overall view of the game. This is the maze. So these are the crawling heads. There are total 2 types of crawling heads which I have added. So these roam around the entire maze. They use NavMesh to roam around randomly. And the sound also, spatial sound is used, so as they move away the sound slowly reduces and fades away. So these are the chests. So you can click X to open the chest. There's an item which you can interact with using the key E. I have placed everything close so that the game will be small. When all these things are placed throughout the map, it's a pretty big maze. It would take easily around 25 to 30 minutes to play the entire game. It's hard to navigate and come back to the escape point. So there are total 3 things. This is the floor, that's the walls, that's the ceiling. So all of the images have been first generated through AI, and the entire maze has been made in Blender. So applying the textures, everything has been done in Blender and then imported as an FBX to Unity. So through a GitHub repository, I have added all the bump mapping to all the ceilings and all, so you can see this. So it doesn't look like a 2D texture. So this is the wall. This is the door through which you have to escape the game. Initially it is locked. So whenever you try to grab it, this is the hand UI that changes along with a floating prompt under it. It's a single one that keeps updating for different things like chest and all of that. So this is the gun. You can shoot around with it. It's a maze. So even these hands have been animated first, including the bones, fingers, everything. So once you have collected the once you have collected the item from the chest, you can close it. So when the next time you open it, as you can see, it shows empty. So this is, I'll show you around the map. So this is some of the dirt added in between. So this is how it is. So you can roam around the map. Okay, so I'll first show you the learning component of the game. So you can shoot around, and coming to the learning component of the game, there are many light switches like this placed throughout the maze, and when you try to turn the light switch on, a horror themed aptitude question pops up, which you have 90 seconds to answer. If you are unable to answer in 90 seconds, or you answer it incorrectly, the light doesn't turn on, and you can access it only once, each and every light. So in case I answered the question correctly, a light turns on. So initially the maze is pretty dark, so these lights help you to navigate throughout the game. There are around 25 to 30 of these lights placed overall, which makes it easier to play the game later on. One more correct answer, and so this is how it looks from the overall when all the lights are added. So to win the game, there are 2 keys you have to collect. First key is placed inside a chest. There are few empty chests also around. The second key comes after killing the zombie. It appears on its back. I'll show you. Along with it, there's one very interesting component in this, which is the jump scare. I'll show you the jump scare now. That's the jump scare with the after sound of a girl laughing at the end. So this is the second one. You can see the walls more clearly here. So around her flickering walls are kept and a different audio sound. So when you come close to it, it mixes with the background sound to create a new effect. I can show you again. So as you can see the change in sound as you came close. When you come close, it tries to attack you. So this is a key which appears on the back after killing the zombie. There's one more key to be collected. So let me explain you about the zombie now. So it's a female zombie. It's a free asset that I have taken from CG Trader. So coming to the animating part of the zombie, I have used Mixamo. It's a website where you can upload your character's FBX file. So map it with the structure which they give, and you can choose some free animations from it, like attacking, screaming, or like the death one as you saw. So this is an empty chest here. So like that, there are many chests placed around and pump mapped all the walls, etc. So coming to the zombie, initially it was given as a single mesh. So in Blender, I have separated all of the parts such as the shirt or hair, shoes, body, etc. So applied the textures along with the bump mapping to give it a more natural feel. So coming to these lights, there is one special thing that I have applied to reduce the memory storage. There are around 25 to 30 light switches, and when all of them are turned on, it would make the game very glitchy. So what has been done is that initially when the player moves away from those lights at a particular distance, they all turn off. So when the player comes close at a decent distance, they again turn on. So this is done in such a way that the player doesn't know that the lights have been turned off. He would think that the lights have been turned on all the time. So the other chest is placed here. So there's one more question which you can answer. So in case I answer it incorrectly, no change, you don't hear the sound of the switch turning on or the bulb. So many places around the game have added colliders which acts like triggers for producing different sounds. So to prevent the overlap of the sounds, what I have done is disabled the background music at some places such as the jump scare, and in other places I have reduced the background music so that there's no overlapping issue. So this is the other key. As you can see how smoothly the UI changes. It's all done through scripting. Under the hand UI, as you can see, the text, it changes as I move from the key to that. So, and also you cannot access it when the door is closed. So even the light on the key turns on only when you open the chest. So now since both the keys have been picked up, so we can go out of the game and complete it. So as I've told, I forgot to tell, so you have to kill the zombie to escape the room. You need an extra key that will be coming on the behind the zombie. So this will go to the end of the game. As you can see, we have answered 2 questions correctly. There are many questions, but I have answered 2 correctly. The final score is calculated based on a formula which increases if you complete the game faster. So the lower time you take and the number of correct answers you give, the game score is based on that. Since I was explaining the game, it took some time and the score is less. But if you finish the game fast, your score would be in thousands. So this is one thing, and there's one more component in the game, which is the zombie. There's one more zombie that chases around you the entire game using NavMesh. So I did not add that earlier so that it doesn't kill us and I won't be able to show you around the game. Now I'm adding the zombie also next. So I can show you the maze actually. I'll turn off the ceiling for some time. So this is the maze. So this is the chest, so you can understand how big it is, and I have placed everything which I have shown you only in this part. So we haven't gone through all this because it would take a lot of time to navigate. So it's a fun experience for the player and there's enough time for you to learn something. So this is the enemy. So I'll activate this. So let's activate by the ceiling. So I'll show you directly from the main game now. As you can see, there's a continuous chainsaw sound. I'll explain what happens after this. So when the zombie kills you, your score becomes 0 since you haven't finished the game. So there's a zombie, I have placed it close, so that's why it came pretty quickly to kill us. It uses NavMesh and around 9 waypoints which I have placed throughout the maze. It uses those waypoints to find the nearest way to reach the player. Initially it's in the walking stage, but once it comes close to the player, the sound of the chainsaw changes. So now it's an actual working chainsaw. Earlier it was just a chainsaw in the idle state. The sound changes and the zombie starts chasing towards you. Once you again escape from a particular, try to run away from him, the speed reduces. So that's how it is, and I'll show you, we can even kill the zombie. We'll retry the game. So you have to try to win against this. So it plays a dead sound, dying of a zombie sound in it. So these are the ones crawling around. So this is the quest, you can interact with it. If you answer it wrong, it doesn't turn on. So all these things I have placed close so as to explain the game, but when it's duplicated and placed throughout the game, it is a fun experience and takes a decent amount of time to finish the game. So I'll just show you the jump scare once again. So for the jump scare and when the zombie kills us, in both of these cases, there's a sudden change in the scene. There's like a shake in the camera. All this have been added through the script. So especially for the jump scare, I can explain you. I'll just finish the game and come out of it, or else I'll just pause the game. Okay, so as I was telling, so when this is the zombie that we try to kill. I'll turn off the ceiling once again. So this is the small girl demon which creates the jump scare. So there are two things that happen during the jump scare. One is the shake in the camera, then a sudden flash of light, then the screaming sound. So let's go step by step. What happens first is that let's say here is the zombie. There's a collider for the zombie that triggers when you pass through it, and just before here there's one more collider that plays the sudden sound. So when you pass through it, and within the next 1 or 2 seconds, when you hit the other collider, the zombie comes onto the face along with the screaming sound. So that sudden sound and the screaming sound, along with the zombie coming onto the face, with a shake in the camera and this bright white light for exactly 2 seconds, creates the jump scare. So when you're playing through the entire game, it's already pretty stressful and adrenaline rushing because of the zombie, that a chainsaw zombie that will be chasing around you. So all the time you will be hearing that chainsaw sound, but when it comes close, you know that it's gonna chase you and kill you. So along with it, a sudden jump scare is pretty exciting for the player. So along with it, there's few small things which I have added. So like I have said, I have added box colliders at many places throughout the game, so that when the player passes through it, there's a sudden change in sound, like a suspense sound, or like a squeaky sound, like someone crying or a door knock, many sounds like that. So there are around 42 sound files to make the entire game very interactive, and around 38 scripts, starting from the key that floats on the zombie when you kill it, to the gun that floats when you open the chest, including these crawlers that rotate. I'll show you the crawlers also. So this is how they look. I wasn't able to show clearly during the game. So this is the exit point, and this is the blood splash. So how the blood splash, how when the zombie kills you is shown is that once the zombie kills us, it's an image, not particle system based. So this makes it more efficient and memory wise and even the computation wise a bit less hectic for the computer. So what happens is that as soon as the zombie kills us, there's around 2.5 seconds for the entire screen to fade out and reach the death scene. During this, what happens is that there's one splash image which I can show you here. It's this one. So yeah, this is the image that has been added. Okay, I'm not able to show the image for now, but so as you have seen earlier, that image which appears there, that image for the 2.5 second, it slowly, initially the opacity is set to 0. Oh, I can show you here actually. So yeah, as you can see, the opacity is initially set to 0, and as the zombie kills you, there is a sudden change of sound. So total 3 sound files are used there. One is the chainsaw when it is idle, then when the chainsaw becomes more loud when the zombie comes closer to you and it tries to kill you. Then there's a third sound which I have extracted from a long 1-minute sound clip, which is the chainsaw cutting the flesh. So as you saw, like the smooth integration from smooth change from one sound to the other during exactly that 2 seconds, it happens very quickly. And along with that, slowly the opacity of the background image increases, so as to give that. I'll show you the image first, you'll understand better. So this is how it looks. Initially the opacity, when you keep it 0, it looks very faded, and slowly when you increase it, you can see the zombie appear, you can see the zombie's face while it kills you, and this becomes slowly dark, and then suddenly it fades out and goes to the death scene. So all this has been done through the scripting, and there is a sudden shake in the camera, all that to improve the player's experience. I can show you that part, just alone that part once more. I'll just activate the ceiling again. So yeah, these are the light switches which I have added. So quiz with 4 options which you can set the index which one's correct. So this is the flickering light for the female zombie which you kill to get the key. This is the exit point, the background music. So these are the different triggers which I have kept so as to play the song. These are the sounds. So let's try once more. You can hear the thumb sound, chainsaw sound. Let's try to be at some other place to check if the zombie actually chases us or not. So as you can see, the map is very big. So even with the lamp, it is a little bit dark to navigate. You can see these walls also, they are all bump packed with texture. So this is the blood, and the ceiling also has blood. The old wooden floors to give that rustic feel. So let's just wait here. So you never know when the zombie is coming close, so you have to be quick and try to kill it or try to escape it. So if the bullets run out, there's an option to reload it through the chest. Some of these chests have the option to reload the gun. It adds 6 bullets. So as you can see, the crawlers. So as you saw, it's pretty sudden and scary actually. So as you saw that, slowly the blood splash image from increased the opacity and became opaque at the end. So all this is done through an animation, that too. So this is the overall game. So it would take around 15 to 20 minutes at least for the player to play the game. I have placed everything close so that I can explain the game quickly. It took around 20 minutes to explain everything. So coming to some of the special things which make the game good is, as I said, the different colliders. So they trigger only once, and once it's done, it's done. So these are all the bump mapping that has been applied, different textures, sound files. So for each and every sound that has been used is used with the spatial sound. I can show you this. This is the spatial sound. I can show you for the crawler. So these all I have animated in the Blender itself. So as you can see here, I have set the minimum distance to 3 and maximum to 7. So between this distance, the crawling heads which you see, their sound you can hear, and it also ensures that when there are multiple crawlers, you don't hear a annoying overlap of it. There are many legs, so you will hear all the sounds equally, and as the player moves away from these works, as you can see, the sound slowly reduces. So each of the background noises, everything has been done with that spatial sound, has been adjusted along with the volumes. One more thing that has been added is that as one music plays, the other music fades out. This it either fades out or reduces. This has been done so that, let's say, a sudden sound is there, like a scare or like a jump scare or anything, so as to make the player go into a suspense and make the jump scare as perfect as possible. Reducing the background noise would help, and also a custom font has been used, as you can see here. So this is another text that fades out each time it appears. Kind of navigates the player on what's going on when you collect something or when you try to escape. So this is the map which I have duplicated, and zombie. As you can see, the entire thing is bump map to give it a realistic feel. So this is the overall game. So coming to the learning component, as I've said, around 25 to 30 questions are there, horror themed aptitude questions, which can be solved within 90 seconds. So at least, as I've shown you, the map is pretty big, and the entire thing, around 25 to 30 quizzes can be placed at least. So if a player is playing a game for even once, he can try to answer as many as possible because they also play an important role in the final score. So this is the overall game. I hope you guys liked it. So I covered everything else. So this is the dirt, ceiling. This entire thing has been made in Blender. And coming to the sounds, I have adjusted all the sounds such as the distortion in them or all of those, like clip the sounds or combine few sound files. This has been done in Audacity. It's a sound managing software. It's a free software. So for now, many of the sounds I have used are paid ones since it's a project. I have recorded it in laptop and then edited them according to how I want. So as you can see the chainsaw idle, and while the chasing sound, crawling sound, the sound you have heard after the jump scare, like just 2 seconds after it, you hear a small child laughing. I can show you that part again. So jump scare is one of the most exciting things in the game. So I can show you the triggers also. As you hear, one trigger is placed here which played that sudden suspense sound there, and next trigger is placed here, so when the player moves fast without knowing what's happening, he would get scared. So as you heard the laugh and the the demon girl slowly fades away. This happens only once. So you can see this also again. So without the lamp, this is how it looks. So the entire background music, everything, there's a lot of sound files, everything matches to the horror theme. You can again see the change in the sounds. You can hear the background music slowly fading. So that's the game. I hope I have made everything clear. So to try to reduce the memory space and all of those stuff, as I've said, the player does not know that many of the things are being deactivated at the end, being disabled as soon as the player moves away from it. Not the map, but many other things like the lights, the sounds, all these things. And also these crawlers also use like they have a wander radius, which I'll show you now. So yeah, as you can see here, so this is the radius and this is the maximum time it would take to think. So initially, to make it non-uniform, the crawling heads start to crawl at random times, not at the same times, to ensure that they don't move in the same direction, etc. So this is the minimum radius it would walk each time it thinks. So each time it walks around for like 10 seconds, it chooses a new location. So that radius is also chosen randomly between 20 and 50, so as to make it as much non-uniform and random as possible each time the game is being played. That is one thing. So as soon as the player moves away, it slowly fades away, like for a radius more than 8f. So I'll show you the waypoints. See, these are the 9 waypoints that have been placed throughout the map, which the zombie uses to now find the closest way to the player. So as you can see, this is where the zombie waits and then thinks where to move next. So these are the colliders that have been placed. See, this is the collider which you heard, this sudden sound. This is the blood splash that appears when the zombie kills you. So this is some of the post processing of the for the sounds and the darkness, all of that stuff. So in the environment, global lighting, have adjusted it along with this post processing. So this is the player. I can show you the complexity of the game by activating this one. So you can see initially I haven't placed all of them yet. So you can see the number of sounds that have been placed everywhere, the lightings, that's the NavMesh. Just around the player you can see the complexity. So to reduce the load on the system, I tried to use multiple measures and try to adjust many of the animations so as to not make the game glitchy or lag. So you can see that, so how many things are activated in this initial stage, but as soon as the game starts many of these things get disabled. So it's a first perspective game, so you see it as the person's viewpoint, not, you don't see the player's entire body. Okay, I can show you the hands and legs of the player. So these are disabled and get only activated when you collect them through the chest. See, as you can see, this is the animation that plays for around a second and then fades away. So you see, this is the dog. So this is how it looks. So the player does not know that the entire body is missing. This is called a first person perspective game. So there's something also called the sway factor to create a smooth effect when the player tries to move the mouse and the lamp and the gun also and hands, all of these move along with it. So to create a smoothness, this has been placed. So when the player, as you have seen during the game, when the player moves around and moves to the left or right using the arrow keys, moves up and down like using the mouse to check on the ceiling or point at the chest, try to interact with the chest or anything, you can see the animation of the hands, both the hands. So to make it more smoother, this script has been added. So as you can see, this is the ammo in the beginning. So once this is over, you can reload it through by opening some chests that are placed around. So even to give a realistic feel to the gun, as soon as the gun shoots, there's a muzzle flash. As you can see, muzzle flash is the fire that appears at the end of the gun from where the bullet comes out, that part. As soon as the gun is fired, you see that sudden fire type. So you also see the trigger gets pressed, the backside of the gun moves back to reload the bullet. So all of this have been taken care of. So this is the entire game. So there are different things that have been done to make the game as smooth as possible. So that is the game. Thank you. I hope you liked it.